start fixing that road, widening it, buying rights of way, fixing our problem. Well, the economy takes a downturn, and it really didn't make a lot of sense to take out a loan, basically, for $52 million, not knowing how we're going to pay this back. All the while, we recognize that Hunt Highway is not just a convenience issue, it's a safety issue. And those citizens, again, our citizens deserve services. They deserve safe roads. I would love to provide 4-lane roads everywhere throughout the county to accommodate the needs of our citizens, but it's just not reality. But our citizens do deserve safe, well-maintained roads. Hunt Highway, we continue to focus on. We're going to start where we can. We're actually starting on the far west side, right there at the, for those that speak this, at Empire Ellsworth, right there. There's a corner of Maricopa and Pinal County. That's a shared corner. They have one half and we have the other half. We're going to start on that intersection here in the next couple months. We'll improve that intersection. And Maricopa County has taken the lead on that, which is very helpful given the economic times. If we receive more stimulus money, again, our priority is Hunt Highway. We're going to utilize those funds to buy rights of way along there. For those that don't understand that, when you have a road, the people who own the land adjacent to the road, the right of way, it's their land. And we have to go in and buy it at fair market value. We don't just say, hey, give me your land. We have to go buy it. And that ends up sometimes being a long, drawn-out process because you negotiate a fair market value. And so if we receive monies, we'll go after that right of way. So when we have a big chunk of money, when things do turn around, which they will, then we'll go in and start widening Hunt Highway along the way. One of the things we do need to demonstrate to our citizens down in that area that we're committed to making this better. And that doesn't mean that we have to stick with a mile at a time kind of thing, you know, buy this mile here and then buy the next mile. I think there are areas all along that road that, you know, $100,000 here or $100,000 there could go a long way, whether it's improving the striping or putting in a turn lane instead of widening and making it all pretty right now, is what we want to do, but put in these stopgap measures that may make it safer and easier for our citizens. And that's important that the citizens know that we're thinking along those terms. We're trying to figure out ways to solve the problems today.
You're getting out to the community, you're getting out to your neighbors, to the residents of the district. Recently you had a chance to meet with some neighbors of yours and residents about valuations with the assessor Paul Larkin. Talk a little bit about that meeting.
Yeah, first I need to thank Paul, Mr. Larkin, for coming out with me and meeting with our citizens and talking about valuations. You know, Paul, when he goes out to talk about valuations, he, you know, pretty much needs to wear a bulletproof vest because nobody's ever happy with the tax man. And it's important to note that Paul isn't really the tax guy. He doesn't set the rates, so when you get your tax bill, it's not necessarily the assessor's fault, but he sets the valuation on your property, so that's important to note. But we went out and we met with almost 100 citizens in the Gold Canyon area just up the street from here. And Paul answered questions about how the properties are assessed, where the county is at, and why we do the things the way we do. Some of the state mandates, it's not really arbitrary where we just decide, you know, okay, your property's worth this, or so. And he explained, and there was some education that took place for a lot of our citizens, and there was still some heated debate. Obviously, when money's involved, and in some instances, lots of money's involved, you expect emotions to come into play. I think the bottom line was that Mr. Larkin was out there and was visible to the community, which is imperative for all our elected officials. And he told the citizens what they could do relative to appealing, bringing up, and we provided the documentation, and you can get any of that documentation on the website, on the Pinal County website, and the assessor's office. And I encourage our citizens, if you're not sure that your property was assessed correctly, say your property value went up and your next door neighbor property value went down, and they're comparable houses with the same kind of amenities, I think you might have a legitimate question. And Mr. Larkin recognizes that, and there is a means in place for us to do that. I do put a caveat on there. You need to hustle on that because this tax period, I think the deadline is the 26th of April. So I don't know if this will air before that. I imagine it will. But get out there and ask questions of your elected officials. Ask questions of your assessor. Get out there. And if you're not getting the answers that you think, you're not always going to get the answer you like. But if you don't feel that you're getting an answer, period, obviously, call me. That's one of my jobs, is to try to figure out, to try to facilitate that communication between all of our parties within Pinal County.
Let's talk a little bit, go back to the military a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about what is the difference between the military and politics and county leadership. What is the difference? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, okay, this guy was, a major in the Army and the Air Force, and now he's my supervisor. What is the difference?
Obviously, politics, I used to be a respected, upstanding citizen as a military guy, and then I became a politician, and they definitely don't share the same level of respect, even though I think I'm the same person. Some might argue, but I think I'm the same person. So that honestly is difficult to initially to deal with. Americans are very good about respecting our military, rightly so. But as soon as you say you're a politician, you're a dirty word. And that's politicians' fault. I mean, there's many a politician out there who's in jail or who has put a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And one of my challenges is to demonstrate to citizens that politician is a label, but I still work for them. It's a job. I still serve the community. People ask me, well, do you feel like you're missing out, being out of the military? And I always demonstrate, I always like to talk about, in the military, you're out there in the arena. You're out there making a difference, and it's very rewarding. You're out there promoting